Her real dream is to become a movie actress. That's why she constantly checks her phone, afraid of missing an audition opportunity. Unfortunately, despite all her efforts, Sarah has never managed to make it past a single audition.
Because... put the car in drive, Charlie.
One morning, Sarah once again signs up to audition for a movie called The Silver Scream. This time, she hopes she'll finally be called in for an audition and land a great role. That evening, she and her roommate, Tracy, attend a party where they meet up with several friends, including Danny, an aspiring filmmaker who often produces short films.
Hey, Sarah. Nice to see you.
Hello.
I said you were wonderful. I'm glad you brought your wonderful roommate.
Also at the party is Erin, another aspiring actress who shares the same dream as Sarah. Unlike Sarah, however, Erin almost always lands the roles she wants. She frequently mocks Sarah for failing to establish herself in the acting industry and even boasts about landing a commercial that had originally been intended for Sarah.
I didn't even know that you auditioned for it. You should be glad that you didn't get it.
Did you do something with your hair? No.
I like your shoes, Sarah.
Taking a new ginkgo. Gallery show, but it's just so much easier to put.
Dude, don't! Fear on my butt.
Feeling uncomfortable with the atmosphere, Sarah decides to leave. On the way home, Danny catches up with her and asks if she'd be interested in auditioning for a role in his upcoming short film. He hopes she'll consider joining his project. In the middle of their conversation, Sarah suddenly receives an email from Astraeus Pictures, the studio producing The Silver Scream. The email informs her that she has been invited to attend an audition. Danny and Tracy are thrilled to hear the news, knowing this is the opportunity Sarah has been waiting for. Erin, on the other hand, dismisses the studio and insists that the opportunity isn't anything special. When the audition begins, Sarah appears stiff and nervous as she performs her scene, and her performance fails to leave the impression she had hoped for. Then, in the middle of the audition, something terrible suddenly happens to her.
I went on another one of her...
It turns out that the horrifying events were nothing more than a nightmare after Sarah had been overthinking her audition. The following day, the real audition finally arrives. While waiting outside the audition room, Sarah notices another actress walking out with a disappointed look on her face as if she had just been rejected. Moments later, it's Sarah's turn to audition in front of the casting team.
I'm Sarah Walker.
Hi, Sarah.
I'm an actor. I grew up on scary movies. Hopefully you'll see something in me because I know I'd be great.
Don't tell us, Sarah. Show us.
Okay.
After taking a moment to compose herself, she begins performing her scene.
Chloe didn't get fed up with the shoot and just take off. It was her. I saw her, Chance.
Saw who?
Chloe!
Thank you, Sarah.
No problem.
Once she's finished, the casting assistant simply tells her that they'll contact her if there's any update. Sarah immediately realizes that this is usually just a polite way of rejecting someone, so she desperately begs for another chance to perform. However, the casting team refuses, explaining that the auditions for the day are already over. Feeling devastated and hopeless, Sarah heads to the restroom, where she vents her frustration by violently pulling out her own hair until several strands fall to the floor. As she walks out of the restroom, she's startled to find the casting director standing right in front of her. Instead of scolding her, the casting director invites Sarah back into the audition room. There, she asks Sarah why she was pulling out her own hair in the restroom. Sarah admits that it's a habit she's had since childhood whenever she's under extreme stress. Strangely, rather than being disturbed by it, the casting director asks Sarah to channel that same anger, frustration, and emotional pain right in front of the casting team. At first, Sarah refuses because she's never exposed that side of herself in front of anyone. But determined to land the role she's always dreamed of, she finally lets go of all her emotions without holding anything back. Sarah returns for the next round of auditions, which takes place in a dimly lit room. Once again, she's asked to perform an emotionally intense scene. However, before the audition begins, the casting director asks her to remove her clothes. Although Sarah initially refuses, she eventually agrees in hopes of landing the role she's dreamed of for so long.
Completely, Sarah.
Relax yourself.
If you can't fully let yourself go, how can you ever transform?
It's okay, Sarah.
After the audition, the casting director thanks Sarah for giving her best performance. Returning to her apartment later that day, Sarah finds her friends hanging out by the pool. Danny greets her and asks how the audition went. Excitedly, Sarah tells him that everything went well and that the casting team said they'd be contacting her again. Hearing this, Erin, who is with her best friend Stacy, immediately starts making negative remarks about the film studio. Deep down, Erin isn't happy because she has begun to see Sarah as a potential rival.
Yeah,
Good job.
thank you. Strenuous, pictures.
Do you think it's kind of a long shot, though? Yeah, I read the ad. The role seemed kind of silly, though.
As the atmosphere becomes increasingly uncomfortable, Sarah decides to head back to her apartment, where she runs into Tracy. At that very moment, a commotion breaks out by the pool after Stacy falls and injures her nose. Strangely, instead of showing concern, Sarah bursts into laughter at the sight, leaving Tracy confused by her unusual reaction. Later that night, Sarah receives another call from the casting director, informing her that the film's producer wants to meet with her privately. Overjoyed by the news, Sarah quickly gets ready, dresses nicely, and says goodbye to Danny, Tracy, and Erin before leaving. Erin, however, can't resist mocking Sarah's choice of outfit.
Wow.
Hey, go kick some ass. You look amazing.
It's a little much. Don't you think you're a little overdressed?
Upon arriving at the meeting location, Sarah is greeted by the casting director, who escorts her into a private room to meet the producer. As soon as they meet, the elderly producer seems genuinely interested in Sarah. The two discuss the upcoming film, including
Of winners. Did you like our little yarn?
Absolutely.
Blackest of human desires. That's what I want to capture in this film. Your face would be on the poster. Silver Scream. The role of Celeste is a really big deal because we want to offer it to you.
I will do whatever it takes for this role.
However, the meeting takes an unexpected turn when the producer begins making inappropriate advances, leaving Sarah deeply uncomfortable. Realizing the situation has crossed the line, Sarah immediately walks away and decides not to continue discussing the film offer any further.
Whoa, no. Open the door! Let me out.
When Sarah returns to her apartment, she immediately retreats to her room and breaks down in tears. A short time later, Tracy comes in to comfort her. Sarah explains that she turned down the film offer because the producer tried to force himself on her, leaving her frightened and shaken. She had truly believed that this time everything would finally go the way she had hoped. Instead, she once again finds herself watching her dreams slip away. Hearing Sarah's story, Tracy feels sorry for her and does her best to comfort her. The following day, Sarah returns to her former workplace to speak with Carl. She apologizes for the way she acted before and asks if she can have her job back. At first, Carl tells her that her position has already been filled. However, after seeing how sincere and remorseful Sarah is, he finally softens and decides to give her a second chance.
Look, Sarah, I get it. But they all understood that being a Tater's girl,
Do you want me to beg for this job?
promise me you'll try and value me. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, I can do that.
Although Sarah feels embarrassed about returning to the restaurant, she realizes she has no other choice. With her dreams slipping away, Sarah has no choice but to return to work to support herself. Later that afternoon, Sarah meets up with her friends Danny, Tracy, Stacy, and Erin. What starts as a normal gathering quickly turns uncomfortable when Erin begins mocking Sarah for failing to land the movie role. She even starts dancing around confidently as if she were celebrating Sarah's failure, making Sarah feel even more humiliated. Unable to tolerate Erin's behavior any longer, Sarah walks away from the group and sits alone beside Danny's car. A few moments later, Danny joins her and admits that he already knows what happened after Tracy told everyone about it. Hearing this, Sarah is disappointed to learn that Tracy shared her personal story with the others. Danny tries to reassure her, reminding Sarah that one setback doesn't mean the end of her dream and that she still has plenty of opportunities ahead of her. Wanting to cheer her up, he offers Sarah the lead role in the short film he's currently working on. Even though it's only an independent project, Danny hopes it will help restore some of her confidence. Grateful for the opportunity, Sarah happily accepts his offer.
You're gonna dig it. Trust me. I'm gonna send you a script.
I'd be your leading lady.
Sure.
You'd direct me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in your movie.
Later that night, Sarah joins her friends at the apartment's pool party. Unlike everyone else who are happily swimming and joking around together, Sarah stays by herself in one corner of the pool, quietly watching them from a distance. In that moment, she begins to feel as though she's the only one still fighting desperately to make her dream come true. As she reflects on everything that's happened, the producer's words from their previous meeting begin echoing in her mind. After giving it careful thought, Sarah finally makes a life-changing decision. To land the role she's dreamed of for so long, she's willing to do whatever it takes. She immediately contacts the casting director and tells her that she's willing to accept the film offer she previously turned down. Hearing Sarah's decision, the casting director agrees to give her another chance and asks her to return to the producer's mansion to continue the process that had been left unfinished. Sarah dresses as attractively as she can before heading to the meeting. When she arrives, she's greeted by the casting director, who escorts her into the room where the producer is waiting. Standing before him, Sarah desperately begs for the chance to play the lead role in the film. The producer tells her that if she truly wants the role, she must surrender her body and soul to Estrellas Pictures and leave her old life behind in exchange for a new life filled with wealth and success. Driven by her overwhelming ambition to become an actress, Sarah agrees to every condition without hesitation.
Would you give up your body to become a vessel?
Yes.
Then show me. The gateway is open. Kill your old life, Sarah, and join us in the skies.
Moments later, two mysterious figures dressed in black robes enter the room. It is then revealed that the producer, along with everyone working at Estrellas Pictures, is part of a satanic cult that performs dark rituals. No one knows what terrible consequences await Sarah after the ritual. The following morning, however, she wakes up with excruciating pain in her stomach. When she returns to work, her condition only continues to worsen. Concerned by her unusual behavior, Carl tells Sarah to go home and get some rest, but she stubbornly refuses. When Carl confronts her again, Sarah suddenly loses control and violently slaps him across the face, which gets her fired on the spot. With nowhere else to turn, Sarah calls Estrellas Pictures and leaves a voicemail describing how her condition has rapidly deteriorated ever since meeting the producer. However, her message receives no response at all. Later that night, while hanging out with her friends, Sarah seems completely lost in her own thoughts. Moments later, she suddenly begins vomiting violently. Seeing this, Stacy's boyfriend, Poe, immediately pulls out his phone and starts taking pictures of Sarah. Instead of feeling embarrassed, however, Sarah begins making bizarre, unnatural movements. Tracy and Danny quickly try to stop Poe from taking pictures, but Sarah suddenly lashes out and attacks Tracy instead.
Sarah, you should go down there. It's not safe.
Erratic behavior leaves everyone confused, while she storms off and heads straight to Estrellas Pictures. She goes there demanding answers for the physical and mental deterioration she's been suffering. However, when she arrives, the building is completely deserted. The only person she finds is a homeless man nearby. Overcome with despair and having completely lost control, Sarah vents her rage on the homeless man. That night, Sarah is unable to sleep because her entire body is racked with pain. The following morning, she vomits once again in the bathroom and begins losing her hair at an alarming rate. Her physical condition continues to deteriorate. Bruises spread across her face, her lips become badly cracked, and a foul stench begins emanating from her body. At first, Sarah believes the smell is coming from somewhere else, but Tracy insists that it's actually coming from her. Worried about her friend's worsening condition, Tracy tries to have a calm conversation with Sarah. Unfortunately, Sarah responds with nothing but hostility. Before long, Sarah accuses Tracy of betraying her trust by telling their friends everything she had confided in her. She even claims that Tracy secretly enjoys watching her fail over and over again. Fed up with the accusations, Tracy finally admits that she's exhausted by Sarah's unhealthy obsession with becoming an actress. She also reminds Sarah that she's already 2 months behind on her share of the apartment rent, which Tracy has been covering herself. Tracy asks why Sarah doesn't stop chasing such an uncertain dream and find a stable job that can actually support her. Those words completely crush what's left of Sarah's spirit. After returning to her room, Sarah discovers an envelope filled with a large amount of cash that has been sent by Estrellas Pictures. Without a second thought, she throws the money at Tracy and orders her to get out of the apartment.
So do me a favor, Trace, and fuck off!
After returning to her room, Sarah is startled by the sudden appearance of the casting director, who quickly covers her mouth with a scarf and tells her to stay quiet because she wants to show her something. Sarah does as she's told, and moments later she experiences a strange vision of herself as a completely different person, more beautiful, more glamorous, and with a proud look on her face, admiring her own transformation. The following day, Sarah wakes up in excruciating pain as violent convulsions take over her body. To make matters worse, her fingernails begin falling off one by one. Thick, dark red blood with a foul odor starts oozing from various parts of her body. It feels as though she's slowly rotting from the inside out. As Sarah tries to clean herself in the bathtub, she suddenly feels something moving inside her stomach. Moments later, she vomits up countless worms. Tormented by her horrifying condition, Sarah is on the verge of breaking down when her phone suddenly rings. Using the last bit of strength she has left, she painfully crawls across the floor to answer it. The call is from Astraeus Pictures. The producer tells Sarah that if she truly wants to make her dream come true, she must offer a sacrifice. His words make it clear that a human sacrifice is the price she must pay to fulfill her ambition.
I'm dying!
Dreams require sacrifice.
That very night, Sarah heads to her friend's apartment building, which is located just a short distance from her own, intending to use them as the sacrifice. When Sarah arrives, she catches Danny and Aaron being intimate. A short while later, after Aaron heads to the bathroom, Sarah follows her inside and the two come face to face. Sarah begins provoking Aaron, accusing her of seducing Danny to steal the role that was supposed to be hers in Danny's film. Aaron quickly denies the accusation, explaining that she and Danny had already been dating long before he even started working on the film, so she had no reason to resort to dirty tricks just to land a role. Annoyed by Sarah's accusations, Aaron fires back by bringing up the fact that Sarah was willing to sleep with the producer of Astraeus Pictures in exchange for the lead role.
Oh my god. Did you actually? That's sad.
As Aaron turns on the light, she's horrified by Sarah's grotesque appearance. Her anger instantly turns into concern, and she offers to take Sarah to the hospital. But before Aaron can do anything, Sarah viciously attacks and kills her. She doesn't stop there. Sarah also brutally murders Stacy, Poe, and Danny in equally horrifying ways.
Sarah? Jesus, what's wrong with you? Are you...
After carrying out the gruesome killings, Sarah takes part in Astraeus Pictures' satanic ritual, led by the producer himself.
To transform!
When the ritual is complete, the next morning, a pair of hands emerges from the ground. The figure is revealed to be Sarah, who has undergone a dramatic transformation. She has been reborn as someone entirely different. Nearby, she finds a box left behind by Astraeus Pictures, which she picks up before returning to her apartment. A short while later, Tracy returns to the apartment to apologize for their earlier argument. As she pulls back the blanket covering Sarah, she's stunned to see that Sarah's body is now completely flawless. However, one thing catches Tracy's attention even more: that Sarah's eyes have turned a striking shade of green. Moments later, Sarah appears to gain the ability to control Tracy's mind, compelling her to lie down beside her. Before taking Tracy's life, Sarah asks her to say goodbye one last time. She then absorbs Tracy's life essence as the final step of the ritual. After Tracy's death, Sarah admires her transformation with complete satisfaction. She now possesses extraordinary beauty and a flawless body, with all the pain and suffering she endured finally paying off. Her transformation is much like a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly, leaving behind her old self to be reborn into